Hi, welcome to Relish Books. So, today I have decided that I'm going to start doing a new series on my channel. I'm still going to be doing all the regular stuff that I've been doing, but kind of in celebration of 200 subscribers, which I know, when you think about YouTube channels, that is still a relatively tiny number, but when I started the channel, I didn't know whether I would ever get more than 10 subscribers. So, thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed. But I've been thinking about this for a while, and I wasn't sure about doing it because I just didn't know if people would be interested, but I feel like as somebody who loves books, this is something that's very fun and interesting to me. And so I'm going to start a series on books versus movies. So I'm going to talk about a particular book, again with a focus on classics, but newer ones as well if they come up. But I'm going to talk about the book, talk about the movie, compare them, or movies, a lot of the time there's multiple, compare them, and then say which I think is better. And I know that book people almost always say the book was better, and that's almost always true. The book is usually better on a number of levels, but there are exceptions. I know of several stories where I like the movie version better, where I think that the movie actually improved on the book. They're rare, but they do exist. And I think it's really important to remember that books and movies are completely different forms of storytelling. The way their artistry works is different. And so a lot of the times we have movies that are taken from books because books existed long before film, or especially film as we know it. And so there were all these beloved stories that were already out there that people then wanted to see and experience. And also because they already existed and were well known, movie makers can make a lot of money when they make movies about something that's well known. So most movies are based on a book or are based on something. You don't usually see a lot of movies that are a completely original story. I mean, they exist, of course, but it's a lot more rare for a movie to be an original story than for a book. Books are almost always original stories. Obviously, they always have influences from things, but books, novels in particular, are original, whereas movies are usually based on something. And so I think because of that, we have it in our minds that movies are just always going to be worse because they are going off the original and they always change things. And I still feel this way largely, but I've really been trying to change my way of thinking in trying to accept and be open to that movies actually have to change certain things in books. The big thing that we all know is timing. A movie can't put everything that's in a book, a book that thick, into a 2-hour movie. It's not possible. And sometimes because of that, they have to cut a lot of stuff, sometimes important stuff. And then they also sometimes have to add and change things because if they have to cut things, then you're not going to get the full development of characters that you have in a book. And so sometimes they have to put in things that can act as a sort of a catalyst to make things go better, to have more rapid development of characters. And sometimes characters that work fine in books just being completely in the background wouldn't work that well in a movie. There's just so many ways in which books and movies are different and have to be different. So often we're watching a movie and it's like, why couldn't they just do it the way the book did it? And usually that's legitimate. Usually it is. Usually, as far as story and weird things that they add and change, they should have just done it the way the book did. But there are times when changes have to be made, and sometimes those changes are for the better. Sometimes movies are even better than books. So, I am excited to talk about this. I feel like it's just really fun. Something I've always enjoyed doing. It's fun to complain about, but it's also just fun watching movies and comparing them to the books, discussing the many differences and, whether you think they were wise changes or unwise changes. So I am really excited to be doing that. I'll probably do the first video on Monday. I shouldn't promise that, but I'm thinking of starting with Little Women. I know I actually talked already quite a bit about some of the movies in my Little Women video, but it's been a while. I feel like that's a great place to start because that is kind of the iconic book that has been made into a movie so many times. There's something about it. Everybody wants to turn it into a movie. It has literally dozens of adaptations to film, to theater, to radio theater, to opera, to musical. It's one of the most dramatized books that's ever been written. I'm not 100% sure why that is, but I'm going to be talking about some of the many different film versions of that book and what I think they got wrong and what I think they got right in my next video. And I'll be talking about stuff like that in the videos to follow. Let me know what books versus movies you would like me to talk about. What ones? Let me know if there are any movies that you think are better than the book and vice versa. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you'll keep watching. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.